show, Stock Dads. Look, my name's Penny Slayer. I'm the host of the show. I'm joined by my man Fuzz here, and man, we've got a lot of content to bring to you tonight, and potentially into the morning. I mean, listen, we've got so much to talk about. I don't even know if we're going to be able to fit it all in the same show, right? Happy day. What's up, my guy coming on? Jay Pals. He's going to come up. He's going to be dressed in his tux, right? Whenever it's game day for him, right? He's coming to dress to impress. It's every time the sharpest guy in the room. For some reason, I even think like Armani dresses him before the show, like because he knows all eyes are on him. He tries to play it off like, oh, I don't buy Armani before the show, but trust, my man is at like the local boardroom getting a haircut and shave before he gets on live TV. So first and foremost, it looks like we're going to get a rate hike. You agree, Fuzz?
Absolutely. No doubt about it.
The big question here is, what are we going to get? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I've come up with an idea. I understand how we're going to know for sure what we're going to get from the Fed rate hike. Are you ready, Fuzz? Give me the opportunity to share my screen here, and we're going to do something fun here real quick.
All right, go for it.
I'm going to share screen. And there we go. Let me know when you're ready. All right, we got a duck race. We got 50 basis point, 100 basis point, and 75 basis point down here with a little add-on. Baby, this is how we know. I mean, look, we've got 50 basis points pulling ahead. Oh, here comes 100. Here comes 100. Oh, there it is. We know what we're getting. We know. And that's actually what I thought we were going to get in the first place. I mean, whenever you think about it, right?
The number 2 duck. Uh-oh, we done lost him. We'll have to wait for him to come back. He must have had a little bit of too much PC usage there for his little duck race thing. So we'll wait for him to come back in. So yeah, so we do have the interest rate decision coming up in just a little bit. Oh, there he is.
Of course, I exit out the wrong window right in the middle of my 100 basis point rant.
I said your duck race like crashed your computer there.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the duck race was amazing, right? I mean, the 100 basis point is really what I'm looking for. I want Fed Powell to come in. I want him to break the market, right? We're just too hot, and that's just the basis and the nature of the beast, right? We were so happy and elated back in 2020, up into 2021 a little bit. We were just on so much FOMO and so much hopium and hype that it's time to get down to the basics, right? We're just too hot, and we have to bring it down a little bit. We've got to stifle the buyer's opportunities, right? And so the buyer's spending is really what I'm looking at for us to curve a little bit. The interest rates are going to obviously bring down the housing market. I think the housing market is on its way down. You could kind of see the fight of trying to get back to getting into homes again. But it's hard for couples and it's hard for people in general to fight the fact that they're going to be paying 6.5% to get into a home. I got lucky when I bought mine. You know what I mean? So, and I bought it this year. I bought it right before the curve. And man, we thank our lucky stars for it, right? And
yeah, absolutely.
Our interest rate was like 5.25%. And so, whatever it is from here, there, I don't care. Right. I mean, I could have got it at 3, but I didn't. So what? I'm still, not at the top, which is amazing. I would like a pullback to 5.25. That's fine. But, whatever the case may be. Let's see. What do you think, Fuzz? What do you think about the housing market that we're in right now?
Yeah, it's got to come down. I mean, it's got to cool down. And we've been seeing data points come in. Redfin has been sending red flags, each week. We get housing data this week. I do believe the August startup. So we definitely got to pay attention to that as well. And that will kind of show us the way where things are at currently and where they could be leading us. But yeah, they got to come down. They got to cool down. It's not a seller's market anymore, like it wasn't, really not a buyer's market now. So it's you got to be doing pretty well to even afford a good house, even if it's a single family home. They're still hot commodities, and we see the floodgates, of people moving different states to get better housing. We've seen that with California. A lot of Californians move out to Texas for better housing out in the Midwest. So, yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm not going to say, come crowd the good state of Georgia, but Georgia, we got
Look,
good land and good housing for relatively good money. So, I mean, yeah, it's all perspective, I guess. If you live out in California, you make more, and the cost of living is higher, just like it is in Florida. But yeah, the housing market needs to chill out a bit.
it
Chill,
does
bro.
need to chill out. We've got a
Yeah.
lot of economic things happening in our state too. I mean, I'm pretty sure you've heard about the buses that we're sending over to Kamala Harris and
Yeah,
other welcoming states and kind of
that was a
sharing our
weird
our
stunt.
overflow of our cup. And so,
Yeah.
whenever things like that happen, I'm interested to see what Californians really think about that, because I know it's a mostly Democratic state. And so moving into Texas, your whole mindset really has to change, right? Because it's almost a
Right.
different world, if you will, right? And so, you know, obviously, I welcome everyone. I mean, I would love to have everybody from California come to Texas and drive up my price on my home. I mean, that's essentially what I want. I mean, I'm
Yeah, that would
I'm
be a win.
going after the American dream here, but I think that whenever you get into the realm of people fleeing California and moving to other states, and the same with Florida. Florida's getting them too. New York is also seeing the same thing, right? They can only put so many people on top of each other in Brooklyn before they go, you know what? We're going to go try these southern states and see how that nice warm weather is.
Right.
Guaranteed, you're going to hate it. It's like 90 plus. I like to take a little bit here to talk about next week's rate hike.
Sure.
In more detail. I think that there was a lot of reports coming out, especially from some of the larger holders, that they're expecting, if the full on break happens and there's not a soft landing that's achieved by the Fed, they're saying another 30% down for stocks.
Right.
And that's almost like a that's almost like a pullback on top of a pullback. You know what I mean? So
Right. Right.
be ready. I mean, as a day trader, you're thinking, just give me momentum, right? As a
Yes.
stockholder, you're going, well, dollar cost average is my tool, right? I mean, that's
Right.
that's kind of the way that you have to really understand this is, not one stock is going to get you rich, right? And that's why a lot of people invest in ETFs and S&P 500, which is a great time to buy right now. When you think about the overall, your opportunities to beat the market, it's very slim. But you can day
Right.
trade it and you can win, and you can win big.
Absolutely.
And that's what we do out here in the Discord, right? I mean, over at Stock Dads, this is what we do on a daily basis. We trade stocks every day.
Right.
I mean,
Every day.
there was last week was another great week for you, boy, Penny Slayer. I don't know how many times I can put these great weeks back to back, but I'm feeling pretty proud of myself right now. Which
Yeah.
speaking of, what are you looking at next week, Fuzz? What's sort of the what are you looking at to trade? I mean, I know you got some news coming, obviously, from the Fed rate hike on Wednesday, but what are
Yep.
you looking at specifically leading up to that Fed rate hike?
Yeah, all eyes on the Fed. For me, I'm going to be mainly watching the SPY. I'm going to pay more attention to some of the dark pool and some of the option flow that comes in this week. It might be a little bit weird since we just got done with quad witching, and we had some rebalancing and stuff like that going on. So it's going to be interesting to see what the big money is going to be throwing their funds at, if they do at all. There were some days last week it was really quiet and kind of eerie. So I'm first of all going to be watching SPY. SPY has to get above 390 for the bull case. To the downside, SPY 357, 350. That's where I'm looking at. And that'll be my proxy for the day trading, day in bidirectional day trading. I think it's like crazy to, I wouldn't say crazy, but it's really difficult spot to be in to go long investment anywhere, unless, like you said, if you have that mindset to dollar cost average, sell calls against your position to bring in premium. There's of course different strategies you can utilize to protect your downside. But for me, it's just going to be trade things bi-directionally, day in and day out. Some of the solar names, in phase, run, FSLR, those guys, those have been looking really good as far as the bull case goes. There might be some other energy names out there, maybe Zom, but I think energy has kind of had a little bit of a cool down. Utilities has been pretty good as of lately. LNG, so we'll see. ALB, that might be a good one as well. But yeah, I'm looking to short a lot of tech, even the big guys that used to be safe havens like Apple, Amazon, Google. All the big boys, they've been getting clapped, and that's not good for the overall market because they hold such a high market cap. And if Apple's going down, then most likely SPY is going down. So that's the way I'm seeing it.
Yep. Yeah, no, I agree. I think that, you kind of hit it on the head when you mentioned energy stocks. I mean, I just don't think the run is over for energy.
Right, yeah.
But one of the things that I'm looking at, and one of the firms that I'm watching pretty closely is Quiver Quantitative. This company since April of 2020 has been investing in a pressing question: do members of some congressional committees have better trading performance than others, right? And so to find that answer, I've been looking at a lot of like Homeland Security Senate owners and stuff like this, and what they're getting into, and it's pretty interesting. There's some companies that I kind of want to bring up here. Coterra, which ticker symbol CTRA. You got 1OK, that's ticker symbol OKE, and Magellan Midstream, which is ticker symbol MMP. Now it looks like the congressmen, they're getting involved in this pretty heavy. And so I'm going to be watching these three stocks into next week, because from here, it gives me this baseline, right? I go, okay, before rate hike, it was this. They made their moves here. What happens after the rate hike? Right. So now I'm thinking outside the box, and I'm getting myself kind of geared to, okay, now I'm putting it to the test, right? I really want to see where the money falls after the rate hike. Do these stocks win, right? Do these stocks win after the rate hike? And that's what I'm going to be keeping my close eye on. But, speaking of thinking outside the box, I kind of want to get into something that I have, I've been going back and forth with something about what I want to start getting into in some of these shows. And that's I want to do like a segment here where I like to call it Penny Talks His Shit, right? And I'm thinking about a play here, and it's going to be a long-term thing, but I would like to kind of put you in the mind of Penny Slayer a little bit, and I want to go deep dive and kind of show you mentally this picture and what I'm thinking in this next play that I'm in. So I'm going to talk about Lululemon and how I think the downfall to Lululemon could be coming sooner than you think. Now, I want to start this story by taking a good sip of coffee here. I'm going to have to lather the throat. So what I want to do here and what I want to say is I'm going to bring back to you a story about Peloton. Now, Peloton was a company, a year ago was at its highs, right? I mean, Peloton was doing great. People wanted to get into it. And then when it sold off, people were like, oh, Apple should buy it. And then something came up, right? Something came in the news from Peloton that sent it to the far downside. And I'll tell you what happened. So Peloton was getting into a new portion of their business, right? And they were going to start selling used bikes. Do you remember this, Fuzz?
Yeah.
So Peloton was going to get into like the GameStop of bikes, right? So they were going to start, purchasing old bikes and fixing them up and then reselling them. The problem with this is these bikes had seen some corrosion, had seen some rust, right? It really comes down to ass juice, in my opinion, right? The ass juice had eaten up these bikes and caused rust stains and rust spots that Peloton couldn't cover up. And eventually this news came out, and Peloton went to the downside.
I see where you're going with this.
Unable to recover, my friend. Unable to recover. Now I bring to you the more recent news for Lululemon. Besides the fact that they're making money hand over fist, and I get it, they are
Right.
God's savior. They are beating the S&P 500, right?
Yep.
I
Yes,
mean,
they are.
literally, besides Lululemon for president, I don't see this company lasting very long after this recent news. So
Okay.
recently, Lululemon came out and they said, we also are getting into the resale business. We're going to start reselling some of our brand and some of our clothes that you can no longer or you no longer want. You can trade them in and upgrade yourself. Let me
Mhm.
upgrade you, upgrade you. Yeah, whatever. I'm not falling for it for 1 second. So what's going to end up happening is they're going to have a facility where
Right.
you get to send in your old used Lululemon shorts, right? And these shorts are going to go through some type of quality control, and then they'll get dispersed into other stores, and they'll be able to sell used Lululemon shorts and pants and all this stuff, right?
Right.
Um, my key part in this, right? My key thought process is let's scale this back. Okay, let's look at this process. So Lululemon's going to start receiving in these Lululemon shorts from women worldwide, right? And they're going to go through this quality control, if you will.
Right.
Who's
Right.
working the quality control line? Well, McDonald's workers from 6 months ago probably no longer work at McDonald's. Why? They weren't getting paid enough to live in society today. They went and they got jobs at quality control. So now I want you to paint the picture here. The people that are looking at Lululemon shorts and quality controlling these things
Uh-huh.
are the same people that couldn't keep the Flurry machine open all the time. I mean, you couldn't get a McFlurry to save your life at a McDonald's restaurant, right? How are
Right.
we going to keep ass juice stained pants from entering stores of Lululemon? It's only a matter of time before ass juice ruins Lululemon as a business. So I'm short.
So
Boom!
you're short Lulu because of some
Ass juice.
skid marked Lulu pants.
My man. My man. Yeah, that's it. That's the picture,
All
right?
right.
I'm looking for swamp ass to bring Lululemon down to its knees.
Yeah, that might be an interesting investigation as to how exactly are they doing quality control. I don't know
The
if
next
anyone
Hindenburg.
who is listening or will be listening to this on Monday has ever uh, purchased from Lulu or done where they do where you do trade it in. If your wives trade them in, or personally, my wife doesn't wear Lulu. Who cares? But I don't know what that process is like, and who is responsible for making sure that the quality is still good and define good. Um, yeah, that's an interesting argument. Maybe at that point it's just try to do some damage control, hope that that person,
It's
if that
only gonna
happened,
take it's only gonna take
if
one
that did
story.
happen,
It's gonna
what's
take one story of swamp ass. Telling
what's
you.
the what's the what's the protocol to fix said skid mark, maybe even other bodily nasty, I wouldn't say nastiness because that might offend
Bodily
women.
fluids.
Fluids, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, what is the protocol? But Lulu's got a good grip
I
on the
love seeing
market
you
right
squirm.
now.
I love seeing you
Um,
squirm in this conversation right now. It's making me laugh my ass off.
yeah, I think they'll probably get sued. Is that a make or break to the company? I don't think so. They have a good uh they're actually strengthening in their
I want to
market
know. I want to know how
right
much
now.
money they're making off used clothes right now. That's
I'd have
that's
to
what I
dig
need to
that
look
up.
into, right? If
Right.
if this is the thought process, I need to know how much they're making from this used product.
Yeah, I
And
don't know if it's much to make that much of a difference because they are slowly strengthening uh their grip on their market. I don't think they'll be as big as Nike or Adidas, but their earnings have been spectacular. They've been growing at a great pace compared to competitors, and they're actually fourth in their group. So, they got a lot of good things going for them. Sure, if, some poo-poo pants to to Miss Miss Amy who ordered, reused Lulu pants, bless her soul. I mean, she has a lawsuit on her hands, but as far as that, maybe sending Lulu down to, Peloton status,
We'll see.
maybe, yeah, we'll see. It might
So
take a few of those, but
yeah, right. Interesting enough.
at least with
After I told my wife that I was going to talk about this at radio or during the show today, uh, Lulu, I was eating dinner with her tonight. We are usually on keto, but we went through this wine festival thing over the weekend.
oh yeah, just you're
preparing
good.
for all that stuff here
So
in
while you were
Texas.
eating dinner, did you use the term ass juice or
I did. Yeah, I mean, listen, we talk about anything and everything at dinner time. We
dinner?
don't have any kids yet, so it's like no holds barred.
Yeah.
Uh, and I got a fortune cookie in my dinner tonight, and I wanted to share it with everybody. And I'm thinking, all right, I'm going to talk about my Lulu position and what I think is going to happen to Lulu.
Right.
And I'm going to share. I'm going to share what I cracked open my cookie and got here. Let's see if I can get this to read. Does that read right? It says, "Don't worry about the stock market. Invest in family." And I'm not 100% sure if my fortune is just telling me, hey, maybe you should just like chill the f out. Like you really need to take a break at this point.
Yeah.
But
Maybe take a breather this week.
Making my position, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah. Lay it down, man.
That's right. That's
Hey,
right.
if you're convinced and that's how you want to play it, then you stick to your rules and your game plan, and that's all you got to do.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
if it
listen,
works out, great. If it doesn't, you played your plan. You played,
listen,
your
you
position the
make
way
your
you're
position right. You buy some far out options like 2024 puts or something like that, and you just
sure.
sit on them,
Yeah,
right? And I mean, listen, you never know. The Feds, raising us 100 basis points could help you anyways, right?
Right.
So, I think my actual position is only $19 to the negative right now, and I bought them a few months ago, so we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, if you're buying leaps, I mean, you got time on them. You can
Time,
heck,
baby.
you can sell options against that long put. I mean,
Mhm.
you can do all sorts of fun with that with leaps.
Yeah.
Poppy Dave here is asking what is going on with Apple and Tesla. So, unfortunately, Apple and Tesla, they are going to be a victim of the overall market. And, especially with the rate hikes, tech is going to continuously get whacked. As long as the current way of things is going the way is, then, down we go. And, Apple, it's a great company. They have plenty of cash on hand, great product. They're going to be here for years and years and years to come. So if you're a long-term investment, this is just a wave in the big ocean. Same with Tesla. They'll probably be around for forever. It's just another wave in the ocean. Short term, you're going to go through some growing pains. It's going to continue to go down. They might not go down as hard as a company that's not making money or, that is struggling to make ends meet. They'll survive, of course. But the path of least resistance is lower. So yeah, short the rip.
I mean, at this point, Apple is just one of those companies you DCA anyway, right? I mean,
Yes.
if you're trading Apple, fine, right? I mean, if you're trading options on it on a daily basis, you're trading the weeklies, and you're making money from the volatility in the stock, great, do that. But if you're talking about investing in Apple, I mean, the only thing that you can do is dollar cost average, right? You just keep throwing money into this thing. And here's my take on Apple specifically. I don't think that Apple is going to be doing anything crazy until 2025 when chips change. And I say 2025 because we know that both Nvidia and AMD are both kind of at a race to create this new chip, right? And we know Intel says that the new chip will be ready by 2025 from their company. So, it's either going to be between now and then that this new chip is available that Apple can use and utilize to, broaden their phone from what it's currently at. In my opinion, what everyone got in this most recent upgrade, if you will, from their investor meeting was earbuds, right? They didn't really get a new phone, in my opinion, right? I mean, they had like a semi-quasi better night camera. Woo. Take better pictures of the moon, baby. Like, I'm just like, big deal, right? Catch up to Samsung if you want. But at this point, I probably wouldn't be going long into Apple until I know the new chip is on its way.
Right. And I think they recently did an overhaul of their chip series. So I think I mean, of course, they're going to be researching and developing, the new era of things. But yeah, I think I'm with you on that. It might be a few more years before we see a big drastic pump and, see what they can come up with as far as research and development.
I see a lot of top for Apple in the future, for sure.
Yeah, that
makes
sense.
Doesn't mean that you're going to be able to trade it, right? I mean, if you're a day trader, it's going to be a dream because it's got a lot of volume, right? And so when it moves,
options move great.
Yeah, big time, right? And volatility can pay you out tenfold, right? So with a good earnings report, you get that hopium, boom. That's all that really matters. So I mean, day trading, it's fine. If you're investing in it long term, now's the time to buy, probably after the rate hike when you get that 100 basis point. Thank you, Duck.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I just pulled it up. It is like there's like a 20% chance of a 100 basis point rate hike, and then of course a little bit there's like 80% for a 75. So we'll see. The Fed's got I would speak plainly, but the Fed is kind of screwed at this point. You got to fight inflation, but then you got to fight deflation because if you're coming down too hard, then there you go.
Here's a thought for you. When you're done with this radio show, go look at Cathie Wood's position on the deflation. Yeah, I mean, listen, you can create an argument for any side at this point, right?
Yeah.
The only thing that I'm looking at is my understanding of the soft landing is getting less and less every day. You're right. I mean, the soft landing, I just don't think is coming for us.
They're going to have to, man, they're going to have to do something. And when they do it,
it's going to break.
Yeah. Then how do you,
pendulum will swing.
How do you reverse it? Because in order to get things back to normal from a deflation standpoint is to print more money. So
do that.
So now you're talking about you're borrowing or you're making more money to, there you go.
Yeah.
Economics there.
Macroeconomics
right there. No, you can't, but they're going to have to at some point.
Yep. All right, Stock Dad.
It's a mess, man.
That's it for the show. Thank you guys for coming out, and ladies, of course. Thank you for coming out and watching the show. We've got a lot of stuff happening in the Discord, so you know what to do. Hit the like button, hit subscribe, go to the About page, join us in the Discord. Got a lot of stuff happening here. Live trading. I'm throwing out signals. Fuzz is throwing out signals. We got, Paper Profits in there throwing out crazy signals on SPX and his future trades. I mean, listen, if you are really looking at future trades and you don't have a lot of money, right? I hear this question more than often. Hey, I got $100. How do I make it to 1,000 by this weekend? Right?
Sure.
Okay.
We get that question. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's possible, but you have to have the right one, right? So SPX is probably the way to get there, but you have to trade perfect for 5 days.
Yeah.
Probably not going to happen. No. So come to the Discord.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
That's right. It's exactly right. Come hang out in the Discord. We'll teach you everything we know. It'll be fun. If you got questions, you can always hit us up in the DMs. We love to talk to the people here. So come hang out. We'll see you guys next Sunday. Have a good one. See you next time.
Bye, guys.
See ya.